plans are pointless unless there are actions behind them. Welcome back to Wine and Chill and to our monthly student loan update. So yes, if you recently joined the channel for legal tea, legal entertainment tea, yes, every month I go over my student loans. So don't click off. I know you have student loans. Don't stop avoiding them. Once a month, at this point, anytime during the month, I go over how much I paid towards my 6-figure student loans. I went to law school, they charged me a lot of money. And then yeah, interest slapped me in the face to the tune of about $75,000 just of interest. Yes, we have discovered this. I'm still upset about it. It's fine. Not really, but okay. As usual with all student loan update videos, all the numbers are going to be retroactive. So this is what I paid in August, even though this is a September video. We're going to do actually a few things before we get to whether or not $1,000 is enough for emergency fund. And specifically why we're talking about that is because I changed how much I paid towards my student loans, which that was interesting this month. Very interesting. So this month, this is the lowest amount of money that I paid towards my student loans since I started my student loan repayment journey in February of 2020. It's been 19 months that I've been paying off my student loans. And in those 19 months, I've generally paid 65 to 70% of my paycheck towards my student loans. It's automated. And this month I said, no more. I'm done with it. I'm not doing that. And I'm going to tell you why, but first I'll tell you the numbers. So this month I paid $1,400 towards my student loans. For context, if this is your first video you're watching, I usually pay between $4,000 and $6,000 depending on the month to my student loans. So this was a little weird for me to sit there and pay like such a small amount of money when I'm used to paying so much more. My balance as of September 1st was $215,040.56 trifling cents. That's how much I still owe, and I restarted at $304,000. Yes, And those numbers, because next month I'm going to get to $100,000 paid, are not adding up. And it's not because my math is bad. It's actually because that original number that I started with, at $304,000, apparently didn't include all of my interest. But we'll talk about that next month, because next month we're going to discuss getting to $100,000 paid and still owing $200,000. That's okay. It's still a milestone and I'm celebrating the milestone. So before we get into the why I only paid it's funny to say I only paid $1,400 because $1,400 is still more than my rent. Isn't that crazy? That's still a lot of money because my rent is cheaper now that Gabriel and I live together. My rent is $1,225. It used to be $1,600. So that's crazy to me. Like I only paid $1,400, but it's still actually a lot of money. Before we get into that, I wanted to give y'all a grape grocery update. Last month, we talked about inflation and the grocery budget and how my grocery budget was out of hand and I was stressed and it was stressing me out that grapes in New York cost $10 freaking dollars. I'm going to link that video down below. If you are struggling with your grocery budget and you're struggling as to why your grocery is so expensive because inflation is up 5.4%, aka everything in the damn grocery store is very expensive, highly recommend that video. Not for listening to me. I think, there's some help in there. However, recommend that video for the comments. In the comments, so many of you were so helpful in giving ways how to cut down your grocery budget. Specifically, thank you, and a huge shout out to Layla, who suggested I try ButcherBox. So I did. I tried ButcherBox, so thank you, Layla. And ButcherBox basically is a meat subscription delivery service, except you don't have to commit every month. Like it will automatically do it, but you can just cancel it. So it's not like Netflix where it's auto charging you. You're in control of it, which is really good. So for $270, I got like their large box because it's me and Gabriel. That man will eat us out of house and home. I got a shit ton of food. 2 pounds of ground beef, 2 pounds of boneless pork chops, 2 New York strip steaks. They were 10 ounces each, like 1.5 pounds altogether. 3 pounds of chicken breast, 9 pounds of chicken thighs. This is for a month. So before y'all are like, what the hell? This is for a month and we both work out like 5 times a week. So we both eat a lot, but he eats way more than me. I refuse. Sometimes he likes to say that I eat the same. No, I don't. I mean, I can, but I gotta cut back. 5.5 pounds of pork butt. The pork butt was great. 2 pounds of ground turkey, 1 pound of salmon. It was flash frozen, but it was fresh. It was pretty good. I would say it was a little bit lean. 1 pound of scallops, and then they gave us a free 3 pounds of ground chicken, 3 pounds of chicken breast, a pack of hamburgers. There's like 1 pound and some, hamburger meat and then a pack of hot dogs for free. Like if you play around on their website, you don't order it automatically, it just gives you free stuff because they're trying to entice you. And it was great. It lasted the whole month. So I didn't calculate our grocery bill altogether for last month since we used that, which was good. But we barely went to the store. Like that was all the meat we ate for the whole month. And we went to the store and just got veggies and whatnot. This video is not sponsored, but they did give me an affiliate link. So I'll put the affiliate link down below. And if you use the affiliate link to sign up, you get $30 off of your first box, and I'll get $30 off of my next box. If you're wondering and thinking, Stephanie, that's great, but that's way too much food, that's the big box. The smaller box is $100 and something for 6 items. You get to pick. So it's 6 items and not 6 pounds, because certain things, like for example, the pork butt is 5.5 pounds. It counts as 1 item. With the big box, you pick 12 items. So highly recommend. And also they're doing, if you use the affiliate link, you get, for the length of your subscription every month, a free pound of ground beef. So it's a win-win. I recommend. All the food was very fresh. It's all organic. With the scallops, for example, it tells you where they source the scallops. I thought that was pretty cool. And it was cheap, to be honest. The price was really my main thing. Plus it was a bonus that it all tasted good, which is good. So good quality meat for a good price. Showed up at the door. It was heavy as all hell. It was great. Highly recommend. We're getting it again this month. So I'm excited to keep using them. So thank you again, Layla. I appreciate that. My budget appreciates you very, very much. Okay. Let's get into it. We have talked about this man a few times, his lawsuits, his teachings, and in general. In general, I have said this before, I started, as most people that start their student loan journey start, with Dave Ramsey. One of the tenets of Dave Ramsey's baby steps is a $1,000 emergency fund. Now, having done this now for 19 months, owing 6 figures of debt, having paid off, as of next month, $100,000 of student loan debt, I have learned a few things. The first one being, is $1,000 enough for an emergency fund? Hell no. No. 999, which in German means no, no, no. No, it's not. It's really not. Now, the reason why my payment this month for August was so low, $1,400, is because I realized that my emergency fund was very thin, very slim, was not going to cover a real life emergency. So when I started my student loan journey, I think I had like 3 months in there. 3 months of my expenses saved, like, okay, whatever. And then like you get comfortable. I make 6 figures now. I've come a long way from back in the day when I used to make 30 grand. So I'm like, it's fine. When we got this new apartment, I used some of my emergency fund for the new apartment, for like the deposit, for my half the deposit. I was like, whatever, like it's fine. Then I started to feel a little antsy. I'm like, oh crap. I started to see the numbers growing. The closer I got to $100,000 paid, the more miserable and fearful I became. I started to think, I have paid all this money towards these student loans. What happens if I lose my job? Like, I have no money, really. All that has happened, which, yes, I have to make progress, is my loan balance has gone down. I, Stephanie, am broke. So that's why I decided, okay, basically, I started in August, but then like towards July, I was thinking to myself, like, okay, I'm going to build back up my emergency fund to 6 months. At that point, I think I had like 2 months saved up. So I was like, okay, I'm going to save for 4 months, that's where my money went last month. And honestly, that's where it's going to go in September too. September is also going to be a lower number. Not this low, but lower. I feel a lot better. I feel a lot better for a few reasons. The main reason being, now I know if something happens with my job, or if like I just get tired of it. If I ever get tired of it, I can just say F corporate. All my life I've had to fight. Like, I'm tired. Now, as of today, I've hit 6 months, but that's because I'm including my September money. In the August money, I didn't hit the 6 months saved. But as of today, I feel so much better knowing if something happens, there are 6 months of my life paid for, stress-free, don't bother me. The ButcherBox will be paid. The rent on my half will be paid. Everything is paid. Whatever, I'll figure it out. And that peace of mind, to be honest, $1,000 is not going to buy you. Now, it's $1,000 a good starting point? Yeah, especially if you're building up the muscle to saving, building up like, hey, I have to pay off my student loans. I have to automate these payments. Of course, it was hard. I told you, I haven't said this in a long time, but if you watch the first student loan videos, it took me 2019. I'm so shameful. I'm thinking about this. All of 2019. I had made my student loan repayment plan, didn't pay a red cent. Man, when I tell you, I love to plan. I love to plan. I made an Excel sheet. I made a plan. I made all that. Not a cent was paid to Sally Mae. Not a red cent. It took all the way until 2020 in February. And I was like, Stephanie, are you going to do something about this? Like, plans are pointless unless there are actions behind them. Pointless. So I know it takes a second to build up that muscle of like, okay, fine, I'm going to do it. Same thing with having a good emergency fund. It's like, oh, it's not going to happen to me. It's not going to happen to me. Next thing you know, it happens to you. It's like that. So yeah, I begrudgingly built the emergency fund at first, but every week as I put more money in there, the happier it made me feel, to be honest. Now I feel comfortable. Like, I put it in Ally Bank, which is a high yield savings account. So high yield savings account, to be honest, they're very low yield these days. They used to give 2% interest. So instead of interest slapping you in the face, like student loans, you were getting interest. So you were getting free money. Now it's down to like 0.4, 0.5. The Fed slashed the rates. But it's still free money. So whatever. I like specifically Debt-Free Gonna Be, who is on Instagram, who I've mentioned her before. It's like one of my favorite student loan debt-free Instagram pages. You guys should definitely follow her. She suggested Ally Bank. I saw it in her stories because they have buckets in Ally Bank. So you can basically put a bucket for emergency savings, a bucket for travel, a bucket for birthdays, whatever. So it's one account and then you can separate out the money. So I like that. So I named my bucket something very cute, very cheeky, that I'll probably share with you guys eventually. You'll see why when I finally share the name with you, why, I ain't gonna say, yeah, girl, but we'll get there. Now, when I'm annoyed, I'm gonna be honest. Whenever I'm annoyed at work or just annoyed and someone does something in general, I just look down at Ally Bank and I'm like, oh, but there's money in there. Okay. And I feel a little calmer. I don't feel so vulnerable. I don't feel like in such a precarious situation of like, wow, I've spent 19 months giving all this money to Sally Mae and Fed loan, and I have nothing to show for it. I feel a little bit better because student loan repayment, 19 months in, it gets a little dry. Remember, I used to like color off the little elephant in the balloon. I didn't make one of those. I didn't make like a student loan repayment chart for this loan. I have 4 loans left. So for each loan, I made like a little chart, I would color it, and it was like exciting. I probably should do a new one and put it on the fridge so that I'm excited again. So I would say if you are a smart person and you are smarter than me and you already had your emergency savings account, maybe see other areas which you feel a little bit vulnerable about, and then maybe like not fully pivot your goal, your financial goal, but have something else that you can achieve quickly. Because sometimes you need those quick wins. And I realized that's what I was missing. Because with my student loans, this is a long-term game. This is not, oh yeah, tomorrow they're done. Oh yeah, 19 months later they're done. No, that's a 4-year plan I made. 4-year repayment plan. Me and the loans, me and the loans, me and the loans. In those 4 years, life still has to go on, and I have no intention of being miserable. So yeah, some days suck, but I want more happy days than none. So having this little side financial project goal really made me feel a lot better, to be honest. And Ally has this cool thing where you can set the amount and it will tell you percentages to the goal. So obviously saving up 6 months of my emergency fund, way cheaper, way less money than my student loans. So your emergency fund, by the way, should cover all of your expenses. So your rent, your food, your gym, your phone, your Wi-Fi, things that you're buying every month. So if every month you go out to eat twice a month, I would include that. At first, I was making my emergency fund bare bones. Like, okay, I'm just gonna have the rent here, rent, Wi-Fi, gym. The gym is a must on my end. Food, that was the only thing in there. And phone bill. I think those are like my needs. But then I expanded it a little bit to some fun money. So like $100 a month of fun money. And some like recurring things that I know like I'm going to spend, like Adobe that I usually pay for, Premiere Pro, things like that I know I'm going to spend money on, things that I know I don't want to cut back on. So that way, if anything happens, it's not going to be an automatic shock of like, oh, let's go into, scarcity mode. I have to use this money. It's like, okay, well, life is still continuing and I'll figure out how to pay for the rest, but we're fine. right? Also, a good side financial goal, if you don't have, if you're thinking like, oh, well, what are my other goals financially besides, my student loans? One could be your 401k. Hey, making sure that you get the match. That could be a good goal. Like, for example, mine is 4%. So I have mine automatically set to 4%. That could be a good goal if you want to max out your 401k, or if you want to max out your Roth IRA. I think the limit is $6,000. I think so. Holiday season is coming. The kids want presents. So that can be a good financial goal. Okay, I want to fund all of everybody's presents by the end of October. That's a great goal. You sit there, or at mid-November, so that way you're not in December like rushing around spending all this money that you didn't put aside for. That's a good financial goal, something that you can attain really fast. I find that it just makes you feel better, People like to feel like they accomplish things. I like to feel that I accomplish things. I'm a secret box checker. I like to check the boxes. So let me know, how's your student loan repayment journey going? Let me know about your emergency funds. I know different people feel very differently about this, but I really, really would suggest $1,000 is likely not covering your rent. I'm just saying. At this point, you're probably going to get these student loan videos close together, because for October's video, I'm going to try to do it, if not the first week, then the second week. We're going to try to do it early. So, and if you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe, and let me know. Let me know if you guys try out ButcherBox. I would love to see like how your experience with them is as well. All right, I'll catch y'all in the next video.